The PlayStation 5 is huge. Standing at 15.4 inches tall and 10.2 inches deep, the PS5 looks less like a gaming console and more like one of those massive, old-school encyclopedias, covered in 2 fins of white fondant and resting on a black display plate. To put it another way, the PS5 essentially looks like a PC tower. No matter which way you store it, or how beat up the box gets during delivery, this beast stands out in a living room. The size of Sony's new console may not be its most exciting feature, considering it has a 10.28 teraflop GPU and a custom 825GB SSD, but that's basically all we're allowed to talk about right now. Similar to Microsoft's Xbox Series X previews, Sony has laid out coverage restrictions before the launch of the PS5 on November 12th, and today we're only going to discuss how the console looks with the power off and how the new DualSense controller performs in one segment of one demo game. So, in order to milk this embargo for everything that it's worth, here's just how large the PS5 is in comparison to an assortment of household items. A 15-inch MacBook Pro, a rotten banana, a 90-pound dog, a soda can. Not only is the PS5 physically imposing, but it's heavy to boot. With the display plate attached, we'll get to that in just a second. The console weighs 10.2 pounds according to my bathroom scale. The Series X, meanwhile, weighs 9.2 pounds on the same scale, which isn't a huge difference. But this is where the industrial design of each console really comes into play. The Series X is a solid box, 11.8 inches tall and about 6 inches wide on all sides, and its weight feels evenly distributed within that contained package. I've never worried about dropping the Series X while moving it between rooms. The PS5, on the other hand, is difficult to handle. Its length naturally makes its weight unwieldy, and it feels like a bad idea to grab the console by those white fins, so picking this thing up always feels like a gamble. Luckily, the PS5 isn't a mobile device. Once you figure out where the console will live in your house, you probably won't have to move it around, making the weight a relative non-issue. One thing that will definitely be an issue, or at least a consideration for most folks, is that display plate. The PS5 comes with a black plastic disc designed to hold the base of the console when it's standing upright, or to prop it up when it's resting horizontally. It essentially makes the PS5 float. Considering the heft of the console, this extra support is welcome, and the display disc definitely makes everything feel more secure. To attach the stand to the vertical base of the console, twist open the bottom of the plate to reveal a hidden screw. Remove the circular tab covering the screw hole on the base of the PS5, and pop this into the open slot on the bottom of the disc next to the screw. Remove the screw, line up the screw holes on the plate and the console, and twist it all together using a coin, fingernail, or tool. I found the most success in this process by dangling the butt end of the console over the edge of my couch, so I could attach the plate in the open air. To store the PS5 horizontally, there are no screws required. The plate simply clips onto the back edge of the console and holds tight. I'll be honest, this extra step wasn't great in terms of user experience, especially for the vertical setup. When I saw the display plate tucked into the PS5 box, my excitement dimmed, realizing I'd have to figure out some sort of accessory puzzle before actually booting up the new console. With the support stand, Sony has given every PS5 player an IKEA-inspired chore, and it interrupts the new console experience just a bit. That doesn't mean the PS5 is a total bust. The new DualSense controller is a legitimate improvement over the existing DualShock series, with a solid body, slightly wider grip, a microphone button, and truly enjoyable trigger actions. It's definitely sturdier than a DualShock, and the clear face buttons look and feel high quality. Plus, if you look really closely at the grips, you'll see the texture on the back is actually made out of incredibly small squares, circles, triangles, and X's, the classic PlayStation symbols. It's a cute touch. The main R2 and L2 triggers have a substantial and incredibly smooth range of motion that's entirely adjustable by developers, while the R1 and L1 buttons are wide and clicky. The gamepad has a microphone, a large touchpad, and motion sensing technology as well. Overall, the DualSense feels great in the hand and in-game. I played through the Cooling Springs level in Astro's Playroom, which acts as a demo stage showing off all the new tricks of the DualSense. The haptic feedback was relentless, with the controller vibrating and bouncing in response to every action on the screen, and sound effects emanating from the gamepad. There's some serious haptic hardware in the DualSense, and I could hear its gears churning over the cute sounds creeping out of the controller's small speaker. The coolest aspect of the DualSense is its adjustable trigger tension. As a default, the triggers are as easy to press as any other button, but this can change at any time, allowing developers to infuse their games with new mechanics. In the Cooling Springs level, my character jumped into a robot suit that moved by springing into the air, and the tension on the R2 and L2 triggers increased significantly, making me press extra hard to land the jumps. It was a pleasant, joyful surprise, and adjustable trigger tension remains one of my most anticipated features of the PS5. There's plenty more to unpack when it comes to the PS5, and we'll be testing this machine and sharing our impressions right up until launch day on November 12th. We'll also have full reviews of the Xbox Series X and Series S near their release on November 10th. It's a busy console season, so to keep up with all the news, be sure to subscribe to the Engadget YouTube channel and stay tuned to Engadget.com.